Ladies and gentlemen, what is the secret that turns a woman from ordinary to extraordinary? From being just another face in the crowd to someone whose presence commands respect and admiration? It's not a title, not the wealth she holds, not the social status she's built. No, it's something far more powerful: her solitude with God. Picture this: a woman standing alone in a room in a moment of stillness. She is not lonely. She is not lost. She is instead connected to a power greater than any earthly force, a connection that fuels her strength, her wisdom, and her resolve. She is not waiting for the world to crown her. She knows she is already royalty. Now, I urge you, stay with me through this journey, because by the end of this speech, you'll understand why a woman who seeks God in her solitude does not need the world's validation to wear her crown. A woman whose solitude is with God doesn't just live, she thrives. Her strength comes from within, cultivated not by external validation, but by unshakable relationship with the divine. She doesn't need to prove herself to the world. She already knows who she is. And the world sees that confidence. They can't help but admire the way she carries herself. And you know what? This isn't a weakness. It is her greatest strength. A strength not in loud declarations, but in quiet, steady trust. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her actions, grounded in faith, speak volumes. They say, "I know my worth. I don't need your approval." In her solitude, she finds wisdom. Not just wisdom in knowing what to do, but wisdom in knowing who she is, her purpose, her mission, and her divine calling. The world may distract her, but her heart is tethered to something greater. And when the storms come, she stands firm. She's not swayed by the opinions of others. She answers only to a higher power. Her resilience, it's unmatched. Challenges that would break others only refine her. Each trial she faces is another testament to her inner strength. She doesn't bend to pressure. She bends to prayer, to reflection, to faith. And with all this comes influence. A woman whose solitude is with God becomes a beacon, not because she demands it, but because her presence is transformative. She inspires, she uplifts, she leads with a quiet authority that commands the respect of all who encounter her. Her leadership comes not from the boardrooms, not from titles or positions, but from the integrity and grace she brings into every room. A woman who connects with God on a deep personal level derives strength from within. This inner strength is not something that can be seen or measured by the world's standards. It is not something that can be bought or earned through accolades and achievements. It comes from the most powerful source that exists, the divine. When a woman chooses to walk in solitude with God, she steps into a space where her soul can be nourished, her spirit rejuvenated, and her mind sharpened. She finds a sanctuary in this solitude, a place where her true essence is uncovered and aligned with the highest calling. In today's world, we often look outward for strength, for validation from others, for praise, for recognition. But the kind of strength that truly empowers and sustains comes from within. A woman whose solitude is with God does not need external approval to feel secure in who she is. Her strength is drawn from her relationship with the divine. In this relationship, she finds a constant source of encouragement, wisdom, and peace. It is not a fleeting source of strength based on circumstance. It is a deep well of eternal power that does not run dry. When a woman connects with God in her solitude, she taps into a well of emotional strength. Life's challenges, whether they come in the form of personal struggles, societal pressures, or difficult relationships, may weigh heavily on many, but for the woman whose heart is anchored in her faith, these challenges become opportunities for growth and resilience. She does not face them alone. Her faith becomes the cushion that softens the blow of life's hardships and the fuel that propels her to rise stronger. She knows that God's power within her is greater than any obstacle she may face. And it is this understanding that gives her an unwavering confidence, not rooted in arrogance, but in the quiet assurance that she is never alone. In addition to emotional strength, this deep connection with God also provides mental fortitude. The world is filled with distractions, opinions, and noise that often drown out our own inner voice. But a woman who seeks solitude with God learns to tune out the chaos and listen to the still, small voice of the divine. This voice gives her clarity of mind, the ability to make sound decisions, and the discernment to choose wisely. She is not swayed by the opinions of others, nor does she feel the need to chase after fleeting trends. Instead, she stands firm in her purpose, guided by the wisdom that comes from a place far deeper than the surface-level concerns of the world. Her decisions are not driven by fear or doubt, but by a quiet confidence that comes from knowing she is guided by a higher power. This inner strength that comes from solitude with God is transformative. It doesn't just change the woman herself, it impacts everything around her. Her family, her friends, her community, they all benefit from the peace and wisdom she carries. Her strength becomes a light that inspires others to also seek the quiet space where they can connect with the divine. She becomes a model for those around her, not because she demands it, but because she lives it. Her strength in solitude with God radiates outward, inspiring others to cultivate their own relationship with the divine and to seek strength from within. The inner strength that a woman gains from connecting with God in solitude is immeasurable. It is not based on what she has, what she does, or what others think of her. It is a strength that is constant, unwavering, and transformative. It is a strength that empowers her to rise above life's challenges and to live with purpose and grace. And it is a strength that she carries with her. True royalty is not about crowns or riches, but the sovereignty of the soul. A woman who seeks solitude with God transcends the superficial measures of success and material wealth. In her quiet moments of connection with the divine, she comes to understand that true power is not external, it is internal. The world may place value on titles, possessions, and outward appearances, but these things are fleeting and transient. The woman whose solitude is with God understands that her worth and her royalty lie not in what she has, but in who she is, her character, her spirit, and her divine purpose. In a world that often associates royalty with outward symbols of power, such as a crown or a lavish lifestyle, this understanding shifts the narrative. The crown that a woman wears in solitude with God is not made of jewels and gold, but of strength, wisdom, and grace. Her royalty is evident in the way she carries herself, in the way she interacts with others, and in the way she handles the challenges of life. She does not need to parade her achievements for the world to see because her inner strength and dignity speak for themselves. It is a quiet, yet undeniable force that commands respect, not through loud declarations, but through the authenticity of her character. A woman whose solitude is with God learns to find fulfillment in herself. She does not look to the world for validation or approval because she knows that her true worth is intrinsic, not dependent on external factors. She recognizes that her value is rooted in her connection with the divine, and that is the most powerful and enduring foundation she can build upon. This realization transforms her into someone who does not chase after fleeting rewards or praise. Instead, she seeks fulfillment in living a life of purpose and integrity, knowing that the most valuable things in life cannot be bought or earned, they are given through the grace of God. As a result, her sovereignty extends beyond her own life and into the lives of those around her. A woman whose solitude is with God becomes a quiet force for change. She doesn't need to wield power in the traditional sense. Her influence is felt through her actions, her words, and her presence. She leads not by domination, but by example. Her kindness, humility, and compassion radiate outward, and she inspires others to live with the same sense of inner peace and purpose. She does not need to compete with others or prove herself because she knows that her value is not measured by comparison. She is secure in her identity and her role in the world, and this security gives her the freedom to uplift others and encourage them to rise to their fullest potential. Moreover, the royalty of a woman whose solitude is with God is not just a personal transformation, it is a transformation that impacts entire communities. Her leadership is rooted in the wisdom and understanding she gains in her time with God. She becomes a beacon of light and guidance. Her presence alone can change the atmosphere of a room, not because of her position or authority, but because she carries with her the peace, strength, and love that come from a deep connection with the divine. In the end, true royalty is not something that can be conferred by human hands. It is something that comes from within. It is the sovereignty of the soul, the recognition of one's divine worth, and the strength that comes from living in alignment with that truth. A woman whose solitude is with God walks in this royalty every day of her life. She is a queen not because of a crown she wears, but because of the power, grace, and wisdom that flow from her heart, her mind, and her spirit. She is a queen because she knows that her worth is immeasurable, not by the world's standards, but by the divine standard. In the silence of prayer and meditation, a woman gains divine wisdom that guides her decisions, strengthens her purpose, and gives clarity to her mission in life. The world around her is filled with noise, distractions, and conflicting messages. Everywhere she turns, someone is offering advice, suggesting the latest trend, or pushing an agenda. In the midst of this, it is easy for anyone to lose sight of their true calling and purpose. But a woman who seeks solitude with God learns to filter out the noise and listen to the still, quiet voice of the divine. It is in these moments of solitude, of connection with something greater than herself, that she finds the wisdom she needs to navigate the complexities of life. This wisdom is not just knowledge, it is insight that transcends the limitations of the material world. It is the kind of wisdom that comes only from God, a wisdom that speaks to the soul and guides the heart. In prayer and meditation, she seeks alignment with her higher purpose. These quiet moments give her the space to reflect on her life, to examine her intentions, and to clarify her goals. It is in this stillness that she is able to hear the guidance of her inner voice, which is rooted in divine wisdom. She begins to understand that her path is not defined by the opinions or expectations of others, but by her connection with the divine. This wisdom provides her with the clarity to make decisions that are not influenced by fear or doubt, but are aligned with her true calling. She doesn't rush into decisions, but rather waits for the guidance of her faith to lead her forward. Each step she takes is deliberate and purposeful, informed by the wisdom she gains in her moments of solitude. Furthermore, this wisdom strengthens her purpose. Every woman has a unique purpose in life, a mission that only she can fulfill. But in order to understand and embrace this purpose, she must first quiet the distractions and listen to the guidance that is always available to her. When a woman seeks God in her solitude, she begins to see beyond the surface level of her circumstances. She gains an understanding of the deeper reasons behind her struggles, her triumphs, and her dreams. And this understanding empowers her to move forward with conviction and determination, knowing that every step she takes is part of a greater plan. She is no longer uncertain or hesitant. She knows her purpose, and she is driven to fulfill it. The wisdom a woman receives from God also helps her to navigate life's challenges. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. There will be times when the road ahead seems unclear or when the weight of life's demands feels overwhelming. But a woman who has learned to seek divine wisdom in her solitude is equipped with the strength and clarity to face whatever comes her way. She knows that the challenges she encounters are not roadblocks, but opportunities for growth. The wisdom she gains from God allows her to approach each obstacle with a calm, focused mind, knowing that she is never alone in her struggles. She trusts that the wisdom she has gained will guide her through, and that with faith she will emerge stronger on the other side. In addition to guiding her decisions and strengthening her purpose, the wisdom she gains in solitude also empowers her to be a source of guidance for others. A woman whose heart is aligned with divine wisdom becomes a wellspring of knowledge and insight for those around her. Her words carry weight because they are grounded in truth, and her actions inspire others to seek wisdom in their own lives. She becomes a mentor, a teacher, a leader who is able to offer guidance not from her own understanding, but from the wisdom she has received from the divine. The wisdom that a woman gains in solitude with God is not just about making good decisions or achieving success. It is about living in alignment with her divine purpose, navigating life's challenges with grace and clarity, and becoming a beacon of wisdom for others to follow. This wisdom is not fleeting or temporary, it is eternal, and it is a gift that she carries with her every day of her life. It is the foundation upon which she builds her life, and it is the light that guides her through every decision, every challenge, and every triumph. Her solitude with God is not isolation, but a sanctuary that nurtures resilience. In the busyness of life, when everyone seems to be rushing toward something, a woman who takes time to be alone with her Creator builds a foundation of inner strength that no external circumstance can shake. In a world that constantly demands more time, more energy, more of her attention, it is easy for a woman to lose herself in the noise. But when she chooses to step away from the chaos and enter the quiet space of solitude with God, she nurtures the resilience that will carry her through every challenge life throws her way. This is not a simple act of isolation. It is a deliberate choice to anchor herself in something greater. Solitude with God is where she finds the peace that allows her to reconnect with her inner self. It is a space where she is not defined by her roles or the expectations of others. Here, in the presence of the divine, she learns to just be. This time spent in prayer, reflection, and meditation allows her to realign her heart and mind with what truly matters. In this deep spiritual connection becomes the wellspring from which she draws the energy and strength to face the world. The resilience that she builds in solitude is not just the ability to survive challenges, but to grow through them, to find strength in the midst of hardship. When life becomes overwhelming and the weight of responsibility, stress, and doubt begins to feel unbearable, it is in the quiet moments with God that she finds the fortitude to continue. Resilience is not the absence of difficulty, it is the capacity to endure and thrive despite it. A woman who has cultivated resilience through solitude with God learns to see challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. It is the opportunities to cultivate resilience because it is changed by bigger things than ourselves. With God, learns to see challenges not as opportunities for growth. She understands that every difficulty she faces is an opportunity to deepen her faith, to strengthen her character, and to discover new strengths she did not know she had. The wisdom and strength she receives in solitude allow her to approach each challenge with a sense of calm and assurance. She does not give in to despair or frustration. Instead, she faces adversity with patience, knowing that, with God's guidance, she can overcome anything. This resilience is also rooted in the understanding that she is never truly alone. The solitude she experiences with God is not a time of abandonment or loneliness, but a time of connection. It is in these quiet moments that she experiences the profound truth that she is deeply loved, supported, and never forgotten. This awareness of God's constant presence is a powerful anchor that keeps her grounded during times of difficulty. When the world feels unstable, uncertain, she finds security in the knowledge that her faith and her relationship with God are unwavering. This spiritual connection becomes a bedrock that she can lean on in the toughest of times. Resilience is built on the trust that comes from knowing that every challenge is part of a larger divine plan. A woman who has experienced solitude with God learns to trust in the bigger picture, even when the immediate circumstances are difficult to understand. She knows that the struggles she faces today are not permanent, but temporary lessons. This trust empowers her to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seems unclear. It gives her the confidence to take the next step, knowing that God is guiding her, even in the most challenging moments. In the end, resilience nurtured in solitude with God is not just about personal strength. It is about embracing the difficulties of life with a deep sense of trust, peace, and purpose. It is about understanding that every trial, every setback is part of a larger plan that is ultimately for her good. This resilience allows her to rise from every hardship stronger, wiser, and more connected to her true self. It becomes a living testimony to the power of faith and the transformative strength that comes from cultivating a deep, personal connection with the divine. Through this resilience, she learns that she can face anything with grace and courage, knowing that in her solitude with God, she has everything she needs to conquer the world. A woman whose solitude is with God exudes a quiet yet powerful influence, radiating peace, love, and leadership that inspires others around her to elevate their lives and beliefs. In a world that often equates power with loud voices, extravagant gestures, and visible authority, there is something uniquely compelling about a woman whose strength comes from within. She does not seek to dominate or control. Instead, her presence, grounded in her relationship with God, serves as a beacon of hope and guidance. She does not need to force her influence upon others because it flows naturally from the depths of her being. Her influence is rooted in her authenticity, her wisdom, and the peace she carries in her heart. Those who encounter her feel uplifted, inspired, and encouraged to become better versions of themselves. The leadership she provides is not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that draws people in. It is a leadership based on example, not words. When she walks into a room, her calmness, kindness, and clarity of purpose set the tone for the environment. People are drawn to her not because she seeks to be the center of attention, but because her presence exudes a sense of stability and reassurance. She has the ability to lead without uttering a single command, because those around her can feel the depth of her faith and the authenticity of her spirit. Her actions, rooted in love and compassion, inspire others to follow her lead. In the midst of life's challenges, she remains a steady force. While the world around her may be chaotic and uncertain, she is grounded in the peace that comes from her connection with God. This peace is contagious. It has the power to calm those around her, to offer them reassurance and guidance in their own struggles. Her example of how to face hardship with grace and faith is a powerful lesson to all who witness it. When others are overwhelmed by the storms of life, they look to her for guidance and comfort, knowing that she will offer them wisdom, understanding, and a sense of calm. She becomes a source of strength for others, not because she is without her own struggles, but because she shows them how to navigate those struggles with unwavering faith. Her influence extends beyond the immediate circle of people she interacts with. It radiates outward, impacting the lives of everyone she touches. When she speaks, her words carry weight because they are rooted in divine wisdom. Her counsel is sought after not because of her achievements or accolades, but because of the wisdom and discernment she has gained in her time with God. Her advice is practical, yet profound, and it helps others see the bigger picture. Her ability to listen deeply and offer thoughtful, compassionate responses makes her a trusted confidant and advisor. She has a unique ability to see the potential in others, to encourage them to reach higher, to dream bigger, and to believe in themselves. This quiet, transformative influence also extends to the way she nurtures relationships. She leads with love, understanding, and compassion. Her interactions are rooted in the desire to build others up, to help them discover their own worth, and to walk alongside them on their journeys. Whether in her family, her community, or her workplace, she consistently acts with integrity, treating everyone with respect and kindness. People feel seen, heard, and valued in her presence, and this creates an environment where others feel empowered to be their best selves. The true power of her influence lies not in what she says or does, but in the way she lives her life. Her life is a testimony to the transformative power of faith, and those around her are inspired by the peace and strength she embodies. She doesn't need to prove herself. Her quiet, steadfast faith speaks for her. She becomes a living example of how a woman who seeks solitude with God can be a source of immense power and influence in the world. It is a power that is not based on force or domination, but on love, peace, and the strength that comes from being connected to something greater than herself. Through her, others see the beauty of living a life aligned with divine purpose, and they are motivated to follow the path of faith and self-discovery that she so gracefully walked. So, my friends, remember this: a woman who seeks solitude with God doesn't need the trappings of this world to prove her worth. She already carries a crown. She is the queen of her own life, ruling with wisdom, resilience, and love. And while others may chase fleeting glories, she remains anchored in the eternal, a true monarch of the soul. And if you're sitting here today wondering how to step into that power, let me tell you, it's waiting for you. It's waiting in the silence. It's waiting in the moments you spend in prayer, in reflection, in stillness with God. That's where your kingdom lies. That's where your crown is waiting. Thank you.